Yes, certainly. Hi, this is Vinny from the iMoot team. Welcoming Susie. Susie has been working for Pukunui. When did you join us, Susie? January, was it?
January, yeah.
One of our awesome trainers in Sydney, working with Julian, and she's here to present. This is the second time, isn't it, on Mutant Learning?
This time.
Oh, is this the first one?
Oh,
Excellent. I
yeah.
thought I missed it.
No, the next
Fantastic.
one's going to be the very third last session of the entire iMoot.
Aha, aha. You've already presented once, but on a slightly different topic. Fantastic. So I'm really looking forward to this. Thank you, everybody else, for joining us. So, Susie, whenever you're ready.
Okay. Okay, so just to warn you, I have up on my screen the user list and the chat as main things so that I can watch what's going on. You can talk to me all the time in chat. If you're a Twittery person, I'll be watching that as well, with the extra little Mutant Lab hashtag that I started up. Alright, so this is Mutant Learning, which I think is vastly superior to my first title, which was long and boring, although it was technically correct. So it is about student curation, except it kind of grew into this other thing and got a mutant theme. So let's see, we'll get started. And yeah, connectivist. As I was pulling together this presentation, I actually found some more cool buzzwords so that I'm all hip and groovy with the cool kids. All right, and next slide. Okay, who is this strange woman? And she's looking over in the corner because she's got her speaker notes up there. You may have guessed I am a Twitter nut. I also blog a hell of a lot. I've been a Moodler since 1.8 and now I'm a trainer and consultant here at Pukunui. Ex-university, ed tech, I've done private corporate sector, learning and development management. I love learning and development. I love ed tech and engagement. I'm really, really big on engagement. Oh, Twitter username. For me, I will type in @SoozieTwits. I'm not sure whether connectivist or mutant is cooler. I kind of like the mutant thing at the moment, but it doesn't sound as pedagogically correct. Also, I will note I am a squirrel-brained person, which means I have ADHD up the wazoo, and I'm very much a visual learner. I'm going nuts at the moment, hoarding badges and awarding badges. Musagoggy, I love it. Okay, next little slide. Yay! So today we're going to start off being comfortable with the tools of traditional learning, and we're going to look more at collaborative and social learning. And we're going to, so hopefully I'm going to get you to step off and we're going to fly over to the other side a bit. So I'm not going to teach you absolutely everything there is about collaborative and social learning tools because I am still exploring it myself and it's still quite a new topic, I think. But we should be able to get a bit more confident with it. And here's how we're going to do it. So I'm going to start off with a little bit of theory first. You'll need to put up your hand or something if you start falling asleep, otherwise I won't know that you are. Then I'm going to talk about mutant learners and how I'm going to frame that and use the metaphor. Then we're going to look at what Moodle has in the way of developing a mutant lab so that we can enable our mutant learners and also develop them further. Down to here. A little bit of theory first, and yes, I've got a little boring man at the blackboard, so I'll try and keep this brief. Not everyone's a theory nut. Oh, that would be cool. Okay, this is a massive slide. Okay, what we've got is, I think over in this segment is where most of us have gone to school and the sorts of things that were happening there. So it's very, very passive. I actually call this entire top section, I am throwing teaching at you, catch some, as opposed to the bottom section, which is about developing the learner so that they're able to take in more information rather than just get teaching thrown at them. What I found out was I started off getting really, really excited with constructivism, which is exactly what Moodle's built with, and it's wonderful and it's brilliant and it's exciting, and now I'm getting dragged off into this other self-directed quest for content. Oh my God. So I'm being pulled off in this other direction. I'm starting to read too many articles on things like unschooling now, and free education. So we're going to look mostly at these bottom two here, and in particular sort of crossing over from what is a more traditional Moodle position an ex-unschooler. I don't know how that happens. Is that an unschooler? I told you about the ADHD, didn't I? Okay. Right, so we'll delve a little bit more into this section here about the self-directed learning, etc., because that is entirely new. I don't think there is a dog outside in the pouring rain. Poor thing, what have you done to it? Okay, so there are some really, really common issues between the two things, and also connectivisms can also be seen as a subset of constructivism. And I'm going to get all my isms there. So we'll see how far we go with that before my tongue completely ties up. Let's see, constructivism will, the design is non-linear. It can be chaotic. Chaotic, not a bad word here. The planning is very organic, it's developmental, it's reflective, it's very collaborative. So it's more about getting the teams together and having them build things together. So things like workshop are just fabulous because you're getting them to work through things themselves, and also you can get them to mark each other's work and things like that. That's very, very constructivist. Then we've got, I'll jump over to connectivist next. That is really, really emergent stuff. It's self-organized, so you've got students basically directing their own learning. I find this really, really rather exciting. I think that it's going to be some time before it comes out in schools, and it might come out in little pieces or little activities and things like that before we can see how to pull that into a more formal learning structure. It's very much more about the teacher teaching the kids to learn rather than telling them what they have to know. So critical thinking, curation, remixing, creation, digital literacy, all that sort of things in with the connectivism. Yeah. I know a kid who went to Montessori, and I thought it was the most fabulous thing in the universe. Let's see. The two things that that these have in common are that there tends to be more of an absence of specific learning outcomes and objectives. So they're not as tight in with the very formal learning. It can be seen as ineffective. It can be seen as inefficient. The engagement and participation rates aren't fabulous yet. It tends to follow the 10, 20, 70 patterns. That's where 70% are still sticking to the edges of the community, and you've got 10% who are just going berserkly nuts. Because Western style traditional education is a lot more read-only culture, it's very passive consumption. So it is still, I'm throwing learning at you, catch stuff. Whereas both of these tend to be read-write culture. It's still very underground, and ooh, can we let these people go off and learn things and trust that they're going to still cover all the basics that we need. Particularly with connectivism, you've also got the decision making and things like that comes into learning. So learning about how to make a decision on what you're going to learn and things like that. It's all rather empowering stuff, and I love it. Let's see, I'm going to flip on to the next slide. I'll try not to announce every time I change slides. Yay. Okay, I don't know how many people have been involved with learning zones, but this is, I am not going to say this guy's name. It's got an SKY on the end. And I'm going to say it really, really wrong if I attempt it. This guy was, that's the one. Maureen knows. Everyone look at Maureen for a second there. Basically, this is a very, very strong contrast to, I'm going to say it wrong again, Paget's understanding of child development. So, yeah, the zone of proximal development is people basically looking for that more knowledgeable other in order to pull them further along in their learning, rather than sitting back and, again, having the teaching thrown at them and try and pick up what they've got. Let's see. So your more knowledgeable other can be a teacher, a coach, an older adult. It can also be a peer, a younger person. It is entirely possible to learn stuff from people who officially know less than you do. And it's also computers. It's databases. It's things like that. And where the learning happens is within this little, oh, come on, show up. There we go. Within this little bit too hard. So just stepping them the next little step along, and then they get more comfortable and they move on to the next little piece. Yeah. I agree with Mick and Noreen there. All right, now I don't want to get too bogged down. Yay, so now we're going to have a quick look at my framework of mutant learners. And yes, that is Wonder Woman, because I love Wonder Woman. Okay. Come on, click. So the teacher role changes a huge amount when you start messing around with these things. Your teacher comes in more modelling and things. you know, like that, rather than being the person throwing the knowledge around, or even being a subject matter expert. So your teacher is there to help people work out what their own personal learning goals are, to support their learners in how to manage the learning, how to communicate, how to pull together the content and the processes. Working to set up the cooperation within the networks and collaborate with the groups and things like that. I'm starting to run out of steam now because I've been up too long. Be prepared to share your own learning networks, do lots of encouragement and things like that. So you are very much more a mentor rather than a traditional learner. And yeah, teachers need to model this. So if you're going to say to your adult learners or even the kindergarten, the kindy kids, exactly what you want them to do or whatever, show them how you're doing it rather than just telling them what to do. The next slide. Yay! Okay. Okay. So here's where we have our little schema of mutants. I'll click back over here. We've got the disengaged, or the zombie learners, who seem to be completely outside of everything else that's going on. We've got the two axes here. The vertical axis is active, meaning that they're mildly engaged in the learning. They tend to occasionally share, and dynamic, being that they're very vigorously engaged. They seek the answers, they help. Oh, I know. No. These are smart zombies, not those sorts of caffeinated zombies. And then we've got the horizontal, which goes from consumer to contributor. So your consumer learns primarily from other people's knowledge, whereas your contributor is the person who is sharing and creating. Yeah, there is a zombie badge, actually. Okay, so we've got our little zombie learner here. He is, and I'm just saying he because he's a he. He doesn't really care, and unfortunately with the 10, 20, 70 rule, this is more likely to be your 70%. You can pull these guys in a little bit more. Yay, I get a +1 for Plants vs. Zombies. You can try and bring them out of this, and I'm starting to wonder whether the 70% isn't so big because people are used to having the knowledge thrown at them rather than needing to go out and seek the knowledge themselves. So I think that we can get this guy 70% down. Let's see. Right, we've got our little learner mutant. Now, learner mutant is basically sucking the information in. Learner mutant isn't sharing and giving things out at the moment. They are finding, they're reading, they're internalizing, they're keeping it very much within themselves. Let's see, I think a lot of people start off as learner mutants. I know that I did. I was gathering a huge amount of stuff to myself until I had a mentor who said, well, you're bringing all of this in and you're not actually sharing it with anyone, so what is the actual use to the world of you gathering up all this information? That's what started progressing me along the mutant trail. And click. So I've got our little initiator mutant here. And the initiator is the one who's asking the questions. So it's the person who says, has anybody got a presentation on this particular topic, or can somebody throw me an article on something or other, or has anybody thought about Buffy versus Edward? And then somebody goes off and creates it. So these guys are dynamic consumers of the information. They aren't creating, they aren't sharing so much, but they do get the ball rolling. So this is not a bad place to be in the universe. Ooh, I want a Buffy badge. Okay, so we've got little Wanderer guy now. So this is where I think a lot of the constructivist stuff ends up, which is I'm sharing what I've found. I think there was a session earlier with Lindy, and she was talking about, oh no, it was with somebody else. Oh, I'm bad. I'm sleepy. It was keynote number 3. She was talking about Moodle being wandering around and gathering the knowledge and learning as you go. Yeah, Rebecca Barrington, exactly. Wandering around and learning that way and saying, maybe there's another way of doing this. And yeah, this little guy here is wandering around, and he finds an initiator and goes, ooh, I've seen an article on that, and I'll flick them the article. They're not creating, and they tend to stumble over their learning a lot. So he is not the most perfect, most wonderful example, but I think we move around the mutants a bit, and sometimes we need to be this guy, and sometimes we need to be an initiator, and sometimes we just need to be a learner. So, next one. Yay! That's Wonder Woman. Okay, so this is the creator. The creator listens out for the, not so much a continuum, actually. No, it's a little bit more, I'll answer that one just after I finish talking about this bit. Maureen's distracting me. Yeah, more complex than that. So the creator is the person who sees what the initiator is asking for, or they see a need within the community, and they go out and they start building what's needed. So they go, infographic, or they go, YouTube clip. I can do it. I can pull together this bit of info from here and that bit of info from there, and I'll smash it up and I'll make it into exactly what you need. This is a wonderful, wonderful place to be in the universe. You do need to spend time being a learner and a wanderer and some other things like that as well before you, I mean, you can't just stay in creator all the time, because then I think you'd run out of stuff to create, seriously. So it's good to keep being a learner and moving around. Yeah, don't distract the ADD person. Yes. Yeah, you can. You can move around quite a bit, and there's going to be times where, well, here's a little place where I can talk about. There's going to be times in your life where you go, okay, I don't see that there's a hell of a lot of information on this particular subject, so I need to be a bit of a learner and go and start pulling together pieces of what I need. And then at the end you go, okay, I'll create that into a blog or a YouTube clip or something and throw that up online so that everyone gets to have a go at it. Right, I'm going to have a quick look now at the Moodle tools, so developing what you need in the way of a mutant lab. First of all, the mutant lab activities. So first of all, you need to be connected with others. Mutant Labs are not going to go too far if you aren't connected with, Wikipedia, completely useful, but go beyond that. Look at, talk to people in Twitter, talk to learning networks, get involved with other communities and things like that, and start bringing in the pieces that you need. I think I've just wandered onto my next slide already. Yes. Okay. So you need to socialize. You need to connect with the other people. No, I am not saying you have to have a Twitter account. That's just how I'm doing it and how I love it. You can be involved in a lot of other ways. You can be involved with Moodle.org is a great place. They've got discussion forums and things going on there all the time. I just happen to hang out a huge amount in Twitter. The next piece of it is you need to specialize. So work out what is the sort of thing that you need to know, or what is the thing that you want to be an expert in. And then collaborate. Start pulling in the people that you need. So places like this particular iMoot, you can grab people's, I'm going to say Twitter, I'm sorry. Grab people's Twitter handles and just start tweeting around the place and start pulling things in together. There was a session a little bit earlier on, where is it? Moodle for Educators, connecting you to other Moodlers. If you can catch the second session of that, that will be really good. That is setting up a connection between teachers who are using Moodle and being a more sort of pedagogically connected and all the rest of it, rather than, I have to admit, Moodle docs can be a scary, scary beast sometimes. But yeah, so I think I've gone over collaborate now before I wandered off on my little squirrel adventure. Now we're going to start systemizing. So what sort of things do we need to push? What do we need to pull? And how do we retrieve these things? So I've got a little example there of resources that you can use in Moodle. So they're very much push things. If you you can set up roles and things like that to allow students a lot more access, so that they can have areas where they can put up particular books, or maybe you're the one who starts off the activity and then you hand it over to them, and they're the ones who are building it. I highly suggest that as a good idea. It's very much flipped classroom, which is my new buzzword that I've picked up now earlier today. Then pull. How do we get this information? What sort of networks are we getting it from? And let's also pull in a bit of judgment as to how biased is this network? Is this a source of good information, or is this the Onion rather than a news site? And lastly, retrieving. I'm a huge fan of tags. I think tag everything. If you start tagging things, it means that instead of having all of your information in, this is everything you need for topic 1, it can be, well, this relates to topic 1 and it relates to topic 4 and it relates to, and it's a lot more all over the place. So it's all interconnected and lovely. Moodle does this lovely, 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 lovely thing. You can also organize things really, really well with glossaries and using the database and things like that, and then set up your Moodle tags, basically. And clicking on. Right, next one's planning. I realize I'm not going over the tools a lot. I'm more talking about how to do the tools rather than I will talk about tools. Okay, so planning's next, which is just about completely off Moodle. I understand this. The 15-5 rule is on that particular subject, in that particular area, spend 15 minutes a day, 5 days a week, and then you can keep active with things. If you say, oh God, you know, I've got to sit down and do 2 hours of bloody tweeting or something, oh, very, very scary. So breaking it down to just 15-minute blocks is going to make it a lot easier for you. Block it out. I think you guys know how to block things in schedules. But yeah, basically write your schedule, work out exactly where and when you're going to do it. I need this as an ADHD person. I'm not following this as well as I should, particularly when we get to stick to it. Because no, I get sucked in completely and go wandering off on all sorts of delightful topics and learn all sorts of wandering things. Okay. All right. Here's another fantastic key. Scan lots of stuff. You can scan, read, try and pick up the keywords of what's going on. You look at something and you go, ooh, 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 there's a link off to this other blog here, and you just bounce around and you're scanning, looking for exactly what you want. Then you review some things. And finally, you're studying the few. So just in the infographics that I'm using there, I wouldn't run around buying a huge amount of books for things that you're just going to scan. I think scanning's more of an online activity than an offline activity. Also, I tend not to read all the way down through posts that I have scanned and it's not exactly what I want. I think that this helps you work out how much time to spend on things. And click. Right, here we have got a little bit of a continuum. So the last one, where you're actually sharing and you're getting the information back out from yourself. There's duplicate, which I think goes particularly nuts on Twitter, which is another reason why I love it to death, because you link the article and you link the YouTube clip and it's like, ooh, I saw something here, and you know, this is on Vimeo, and oh, there's this fantastic slide on SlideShare, and you're just flipping them around places. Amalgamating is really, really a wonderful thing. It's where you're starting to say, this concept and this concept can touch in here. So you're starting to build things. It's like building infographics and things like that. Oh, I love infographics. Innovating, I think I would love to get more involved with the innovating. I think that this little thing is probably my first foray into innovating. This is where you're starting to move ahead of the trends and ahead of what people are doing, and you're really starting to put things together and encouraging your students to go from wandering around and, ooh, I just happen to find something here, and I kind of happen to find something here, and I'll flick these around, through to the point where you're actually pulling things together, you're learning, and then you're pushing it out as a particular product or a curated thing. So that could be, I mean, curation even goes down a bit to duplicate, where you're pulling the resources together, and you can, if you're putting lists in order and things like that, yeah, Google presentation embedded course. Ah, Leah wants to give me another badge. I will take all badges. I love badges. Mushroom. Let's see. I'll do another click. Okay, I haven't talked too much about the tools. What I have done is I have built a lesson, basically. Let me have a look. A lesson that I have called the Exploration Lab in my course, and I've put some tips about how to use Moodle tools in there. I have got completely carried away with the topic at hand. Rather than talking about the Moodle tools, we can talk about Moodle tools if you want to. Put it into chat if you want me to go through what I've done with Moodle tools so far and ideas on that, pop it into chat. I know that I originally called this Moodle tools to facilitate student as curator learning, but I did get completely sidetracked by Mutant Learning Labs and about how to actually use the tools rather than the tools themselves. Let's see, how are we going? Oh, you're liking it better. Okay. So let's see. Yeah, I have built a hell of a lot into the course. I did spend a lot of time, and let me just check the participants. I think probably somewhere is my boss Julian shaking his head and saying, yeah, she did spend that much time on it. So hopefully, we won't say tools, we'll say ideas. Comfortable with the ideas of traditional learning and feeling more confident about collaboration. Well, I haven't actually talked about collaboration that much. Social learning tools. I've wandered so far off from my little topic here. Okay, so that is what I have in the way of PowerPoints. Beyond that, I think we can start chatting and talking about it, if everyone's up for that. Ooh, I will have a look and see. Ah, all these lovely people are tweeting about me. Ooh, okay. Let's see. In my course, I basically, I'll pull my course up to the screen here so I can have a look at it at the same time. Basically what I've done is thrown a huge amount of stuff into an orphan topic, and then also within that orphan topic put in the activities of the exploration lab and the mind lab. I used heaps and heaps of the making the little buttons because I love those little buttons in this theme. Oh yay, somebody's loving on my Voki. Yeah, I'm going to blame Lindy for that one. She got me onto him. It's her fault. Let's see. So what I've done is the entire top piece is just a single label. I've put in there an image for Mutant Learning. Then I put in the URLs linking to the Mind Lab, Exploration Lab, the live sessions and where the recorded sessions are, and also there's a participant badge. Oh, okay. I'll see if I won't be able to see the chat stream at the same time, but I shall do. Let's see, buttons. Okay, we'll pull that down. Okay, I don't think it's behaving itself. Ooh. Okay. Let's see. Oh, you want to see my little buttons? Okay. So this is the magic of the wonderful theme built on Bootstrap 2.5, which is why it's got a little show editing tool. It's hiding behind the theme now. Okay, so you can see that the little buttons are actually just HTML links in here. And what I've done is I went into Advanced and basically just put button in. There's also button slash green, button grey, button orange. The standard button is blue, so I'm using that one. It is really cool. I'm so happy with that. I know. I know. It's Moodle Man's most brilliant brilliance. You shouldn't have to be logged in as a teacher. You can go and do it in a post forum and things like that. In a forum post, sorry. You need that particular thing, so I think that it will be a 2.5. Now let's see. Look at all that work. Oh my goodness. So if you want to dive into the HTML, that little magic bit there. Oh my god, code. Yes. There should be a button for oh my god, by the way. Although we are kind of going button crazy. Okay, so some themes might be able to do it, Lindy. So I'll close region for the moment. Let's see. So what other things do you want to see in my little course? Yeah, I have to admit that I haven't sort of dived in a major way into CSS. I'm still leaving it all for... Oh, it didn't work. Where were you trying the button carry? Was it in a forum or a label or something? Summary. It's not working in the Mind Lab. This is turning into a session on making pretty buttons. Let's see. I will go back to sharing again. Okay. Right. This button's gone a bit crazy now. It's wandered off. Let's see. If I go into Mind Lab. Not recorded sessions. Oh, there we go. Oh, it isn't either. Okay, I'm going to reply so I can test it out. This is terrible. This is turning into button session. Button. No. I don't know, button to Google. Let's see. Okay. ID button. Okay, so it doesn't look like it yet. And scroll down. Okay. Yay, somebody found all my badges. It didn't work. Yeah. I'm going to go in and just see what you've done. It hasn't turned up with button here. Yeah, it hasn't got the ID in there. So that one hasn't picked it up. It shouldn't be a permission thing. It should be, because it's within the theme, it's not set for a permission. I'm going to close sharing. Yeah, I'm not sure either. I have heard that it is in Bootstrap theme. Yes, it is. How about we start a thread on that in... I'm not an admin. I think I am a facilitator, though. I think we should start a thread in... start a thread in social forum to figure it. Ooh, Mutant Learning very much bigger than Teams. Because it is very much the network thing. So even if you are by yourself and you haven't got a formal team, it's all done through networks. Like when I started off blogging, I was pretty much blogging to nobody. But I was putting things out on Twitter, and as people started stumbling over my posts, then they were starting to pull me into their network, and I started gathering more people together and reading all of their articles and passing some things on, writing reviews, and writing my own posts on things. Ah. Okay, another, just to pull it slightly back on topic again, what I'm thinking is the way that we have courses structured, particularly in Australia and things like that, is very much around formal learning. So mutant learning you could probably do as an activity rather than have it as an entire course, because I don't think you're going to get signed off as a registered training authority or anything like that if you're going to have social learning and have people working out their own learning schedules and how they're going to do things. I also think with Australia's getting national curriculum now, and I know that the states have always had their own curriculum and things like that. Getting around those sorts of things, I think this has to be an activity until first of all, until the students are more used to it and working out that they have to move themselves and self-motivate slightly and things like that. And then also we need to work out how does this meet objectives and things like that. Yeah. Ooh. I like Maureen. I'm going to have to follow her on Twitter. I think it's very much along the lines of informal. I think informal, people who are used to informal education, things like that, are used to diving in and finding stuff that's online to fit what they need. I do a lot of that. I'm actually partway through a postgraduate certificate of learning, and I have done maybe 1 out of 13 modules in the course because I find it completely boring, but I probably already know everything to do with it. So I need to work out my recognised prior learning. Complete side note, but I've been learning from experience, I've been learning from reading, I've been learning from connecting with different people and their blogs and different things like that, and pulling together the learning and understanding for myself rather than having somebody give me, let's say, a PDF of examples out of a textbook and then a quiz at the end. And I do love a quiz. I'm not having a go at quiz at all. Maybe students need to set quizzes and create questions. Yeah, I don't think everyone can be motivated all at the same time. I think that people do retire back into a wanderer or a learner or an initiator every now and then. Ooh, there's an app for that. Ooh, lovely. Oh, cool. So you guys are, so is there any tools within Moodle also that you might get terribly excited about? I know I'm kind of going crazy nuts on Lesson at the moment because it's the different pathways and it's people moving around in a very non-linear way, and I love that. So I'm kind of going nuts on Lesson, and I think maybe giving a student access to create a lesson and build their own information. Also, Wiki, I think, would be something very, very, very useful for that sort of thing, and getting little ideas sparked over here and people going, ooh, that looks awesome, I think I'll create a page of that, and basically moving things around. Yeah, there's a hell of a lot of quotes and things flying around about you learn by teaching to other people. Ooh. giving kids extra points if their questions used on the test. I think that sort of thing's really cool, and I think that's also why I like badges, is that you can have badges that you hand out yourself, and then there's also the badges that you've hidden within the courses. And if you do a bit of this activity and a bit of sharing over here and a bit of something else, then suddenly this badge comes up and everyone goes badge nuts. I think if it was every day there were badges popping up, I think people might get a little bit bored with that. I know for iMoot, because it's exactly that long, I think that the badge is lots of fun. Oh, rating questions. Yeah, fair enough getting nervous using plugins. There are ways of kind of shoehorning some of this stuff within Moodle itself, like depending on how social you want to make it. Like a full Mutant Learning would probably be more like a discussion forum, but if you set up a workshop or something like that and make it so that they are marking out of the usefulness scale or something like that, rather than giving actual factual grades, that could be really useful. Oh, okay, Natalie's off. Bye, Natalie. Ooh, silence. Complete side note, nothing to do with topic. I have hidden a game in iMoot about finding Whovian references, so references to Doctor Who. I have 2 badges set up for that. And basically I'm making it a game for people to go around and deliberately stick their nose into pretty much everywhere, trying to find where these references are. And I think that sort of thing's also encouraging people to network out and to go into different areas where they might not have normally have wandered. More people going off to sleep. Well, fair enough. Oh, I know that there's Doctor Who references. Oh, yes, go to bed. I wish I could do Doctor Who references outside of iMoot, Maureen. Why are you feeling bad, Carrie? Somebody's going to start reporting you two. Yes, that's a little game that I have set up. Oh, there is not Geek Overlord, but there is a what do I call it? There is a sci-fi geek badge. So if you reference something that's, I'm not saying Doctor Who's shallow, but deeper sci-fi than Doctor Who. Somebody's been playing in my lab. Yay! I liked her. Behoovian. Okay, we've got, let's see, half an hour more to mess around if we want. Has anyone got
Susie,
Yeah?
I'll just jump in and I'll say, kind of just because people are starting to switch out of your session, maybe taking a break before the next one. But I want to say another thank you. It's a huge amount of work that you've done, and I certainly am looking forward to having a good nose around in your course when I finally get a moment when all this craziness calms down.
Yeah.
So thank you once again for presenting. What I'll do is, because you've got moderator rights, I'll leave you to wind up the session, and if you guys want to just hang out and chat with the participants, that's all cool.
We can do that.
But I'll kind of call that the official end to Susie's session, but feel free to keep picking her brains and asking her questions.
Yes.
So thank you again.
Not in a zombie fashion, pick 'em in a mutant fashion. Oh, the shark. Okay.